Welcome to the 5th episode of Biomimicry Ecotone. My name is Gamehle Sibanda.
My name is Hugo. It is really an honor for me to present Melina.
My name is Melina Adrix. I was part of the first cohort of the biomimicry professional certification, like 4 biologists, 4 designers, 4 engineers, and 4 business people. Studied biology in Colombia. I am from Bogota. I studied evolutionary biology, and after my graduation, I had the opportunity to work a little bit more with product design. I was living in Canada. Very soon, when I realized that we really needed to work with systems, develop a little bit more like systemic biomimicry or biomimicry for systems. I founded Biomimicry Colombia and Biomimicry Quebec. Nobody knew anything about biomimicry. Very nice, but it was so far from possible application for people. So I started to develop these methodologies on reconnection for groups, for people. In Canada, the market was pretty small. Decided to move definitely to Colombia.
I know that you also have been working with indigenous communities. What is also to work with people that gets biomimicry from other disciplines?
With indigenous people, there are many perspectives as well. For example, the Nukak people who were recently contacted by Western in the 90s. They were nomads and they are in a place in Colombia where there is a big armed conflict. These particular people are so connected with nature. There are some worms that go into the pineapple leaf and they started to make some patterns in the way that they eat it. So the woman will observe the patterns and they will weave things with some material. They are so loving people, like they can hug you and really transmit so much love with the first time you meet them. All these little kids like a monkeys climbing on you and just being completely submerged with these people. It has been one of the experiences of reconnection that I have myself. They are part completely of the ecosystem.
Biomimicry, does it have sense to them?
It has no sense. When you are nature, you don't have to emulate nature. You are nature. It's like, what do you mean with emulate something that you are? We are nature, but we really need to be aware of it. We really need to focus on reconnection. We really need to act as nature.
When I asked you to come here, I remember that you were really willing to talk about reconnection. Why do you think it's important and how it's related in the biomimicry?
Through the reconnections to our own nature, innovation, the way we manage water, all the functions that we need to accomplish will just flow naturally in the way of nature functions, in the right path.
For you, Kama, how important is for you also reconnection?
You mentioned the trip we did in Mexico. One of the memorable moments was when the whale shark actually made contact with my body because we're swimming next to the whale shark. We didn't want to be in front because we thought we were going to be sucked into the mouth because the mouth is really big. Even a small car can go in there. And one of the fins, as it was turning, kind of like made contact with me. I tell you, that's my most treasured moment. I've got a clip, fortunately, when I was emerging from the water. And I keep going to look at that. And it has transformed me completely. Ethos, reconnection, emulation. Can you just briefly touch on those?
Biomimicry seeds are 3. One is the emulation part, which is like the development of technology based on functioning or strategies, natural strategies from organisms to develop technologies that will help us to solve those functions. And also we have the ethos, which is the use of life principles to bring like a deep functioning of nature into how we design and evaluate innovation. And we have reconnection. We come into biomimicry by one of these seeds. And I was definitely reconnected.
Where I grew up, my grandfather would tell you, if you see these ants coming from the ground at this time of the year, you know that 2 weeks later the rain is coming. Or if you see the fruits of this tree not ripening this time of the year, it means it's going to be a drought. So we had all these indicators from the environment. What we are now needing, high tech and AI and all that, they were deriving that from a relationship with nature. In your context, do you see indigenous knowledge maybe informing our social innovation or even tech innovation?
Here in Colombia, indigenous people have been bringing a lot of their knowledge and connection with nature into policy, for example. You know, we changed constitution in 91. We included all the indigenous knowledge into the law system in politics.
Can you just explain how you are using evolution as something that maybe can inspire?
What I found, think nature as lots of scales, you know, like the cells, the tissues, the organs, the organisms, the communities, the ecosystems, the biomes, and whatever. But there are actually just three that repeat themselves in all the sizes. One is the individual, then the community. The third level is the emergent level, the group level, the development of the life principles that I came with working with social systems.
In biomimicry, as a bee professionals, we work with the life principles, but it is not meant to be exactly the same one, the version of the B3.8. This is your own version.
Yeah, exactly. For me, working with these principles, it has been really like the base on any intervention I do with social systems. Understand that we are communities, individuals, and that our relationships are the base for a new kind of humanity, a new evolutionary step.
I've been looking into Seven Vortex.
What I have been doing is to bring the thinking of bottom-up building for regeneration.